Hey everyone, welcome back to GoLocal Live. I am Ava Gaudette. And up next in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center, I'm very excited because I am right now jumping off a brand new segment that will be recurring on GoLocal Live. This is called Tips of the Trade, and I'm going to be offering some entertainment industry experts giving some tips of the trade on how to do various things in the entertainment industry. And my first guest is a very, very special person. LA-based voice actor. Her name is Marie Westbrook. Hello, Marie. Marie, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you now. There was a little cut there.
Okay, good. So, Marie is a voice actor who works commercially. She has done promos. She has done video games. She's a two-time Voice Arts Award winner. She has been doing this for a while. And so, Marie, tell us a little bit just quickly about your journey in the voiceover industry. I know you've worked very hard. You've done a lot of great things. How did you get this going?
So mine all started, years ago. A theatrical agent sent me a voiceover audition, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I remember I had to figure out how to get it recorded. This is before people had home studios, really. And it was for Nintendo, and I booked it, and I was like, oh my God, that's pretty amazing.
That's always nice.
And then a few years later, a similar kind of thing happened, and I thought, you know what, I really enjoyed it, and I thought, you know what, I should pursue this more. Take a step back to the fact that I did do a little bit of traffic reporting in college, radio traffic reporting. So a little bit of that was just kind of a fun little job. And so then I kind of, at a certain point a few years ago, I stopped doing on camera, and I completely switched over to voiceover. And ever since then, things just took off. I mean, I've been working obviously in between them, but that's kind of a very, very short version of the story of how I am now doing voiceover as my full-time job.
Right. And so were you one of those people that had, folks that you were just talking to in life say, hey, you have a beautiful voice. Have you ever done voiceover? Was that sort of you?
I did have that happen randomly a couple of times, but generally, no, that was not something I even really knew of. I didn't grow up knowing that was an actual job that people did.
Right. Yeah, you were an on-camera actress and sort of found your way to the voiceover world through that route, which, is definitely an interesting way in. Can you hear me?
Yes, sorry,
Okay.
it cut out there a minute. I don't know what's going on, but I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. So why don't we jump right into your tips? So let's say I am somebody that has been interested in possibly pursuing this as a career. Maybe I was someone that people have told you have a beautiful voice, you should get into voiceover, but I have no idea how. What would you suggest as their first step, the first thing that someone should do?
Okay, so let me preface this by saying whether or not you have a beautiful voice, it means nothing, really. I mean, because you can have a beautiful voice and still not be able to be successful. So yes, it's great, and there's definitely a leg up. But for those of you who would consider yourself not having a beautiful voice, doesn't mean you can't have a voiceover career. So the first step is taking a class, and that's kind of how you can really find yourself and find if you have, first of all, the interest, if it's something that you like, and second of all, if you kind of have the chops and have what it takes. So my suggestion is there's so many different facets of voiceover. There's commercial, animation, promo, narration, video games. But to really get started, the first thing you're going to want is a commercial demo. So taking a commercial class is the best way to market yourself for agents, because they're going to want to hear a commercial demo. Even if animation is totally your thing and that's where you really think you're going to excel, that's the first step. And places there's online places, Edge Studio they actually offer kind of a tester class that you can take to determine if voiceover is for you.
Oh, how
perfect. And yeah, right. There's so many online things. If you don't live in a major city. Because
Right.
if you live in a major city, you obviously are going to be able to go into different studios and there's different classes. And
Yeah, and
so in my,
even here in Rhode Island, if you wanted to take sort of a 1 day seminar voiceover class in New York with some kind of major professional person, you could. But if you don't want to leave Rhode Island or don't want to leave your area, as you said, you can kind of do something via Skype or an online course where you record things. Edge Studio, as you said, is a good one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the game has totally changed in the last few years, as with everything. I mean, the home studios, everything being online. And also, my suggestion, if you can, is to take a group class, just because you learn so much from the other actors when
Yeah.
they're up there, and you learn when they make that shift. You're like, oh my God, I totally heard that and I can see it. And also, you kind of, the voiceover community is really tight and embracing, and it's so wonderful and loving. And everybody kind of helps each other out. And when you go to a group class, you kind of start your own little voiceover community. I still keep in touch with some of the people that I took my very first voiceover class with. So there's that, or GVAA, Edge Studio. GVAA is another great resource for classes and coaching and all anything that has to do with voiceover.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, as a first step, taking a class is really the place to start because, again, just having a beautiful sounding voice or, for animation, having all these character voices in your back pocket is great, but there are so many techniques that you need to learn that you have to be on board with other voice actors who have this technique. So getting a little technique is definitely going to be important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is something, it's like any other skill, you need to, there's a lot of different components to it, and you want to work that muscle and kind of, you know, get it, you get better and better. I still coach, I still am doing what I can to get better. So that by the way is the next thing I would say is you need to up your oral reading game. So
Great.
there's so much when you're looking at copy. I mean, you're constantly looking at copy, and you just have, reading. And if reading out loud and is not your thing, you want to. I mean, even if it is your thing, it's something you need to get used to. So reading online articles or the newspaper or reading books to your kids is such a great way. Like I practice all of my accents and all of my little animation voices when I read to my little one, and I'm sure I hope she loves it. For her, that's just what mom does. She doesn't
Right.
realize that's like
Practice
something
for you.
like special. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and even if somebody is good at reading out loud or public speaking or, reading words on a page seems like a snap, when you get in the booth and you are in the middle of an audition and the pressure is on, it's amazing how quickly that goes. You get flubbed on a word and you start losing your focus. So practicing that skill, I can see why that would be something you should focus on.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. You just want to get as comfortable as you can.
Right.
And then I would say, and this is where, voiceover, I think is something that some people think, oh, I'm just going to do voiceover. Like, it'll be easy. I jump into it and I'll just make some money. And I mean, there's a lot of time and investment that goes into it. And one of them is these days you need to have a home studio. And
Right.
there's definitely very inexpensive ways to do that. My very first studio, and a lot of people do this, I had a USB mic and I used GarageBand. And then this is before I really learned about other things. And there's other things that are really inexpensive. Twisted Wave is a great piece of software to use that is inexpensive, very easy, very user friendly. And I know people that will record audiobooks out of their closet. So,
yeah.
I
Again,
mean,
one of the great things about voiceover that I think is attracting people, especially kind of regionally across the country, you don't have to be in New York or LA because you can record from home. But as you said,
right.
this is an investment that you need to make. You have to sort of be set up and ready to go, making sure your setup sounds good, is nice and clear, there's enough volume, everything before you start submitting yourself on potential jobs.
Right, right. And I got to a point where I was starting to audition more and work more, and I had a couple of agents comment on the quality of my sound. And I'm like, all right, I guess it's time to move up from the USB mic. And
right.
now, I don't even know if you can see it, but behind me I have my sound booth. But this is years of working before
Right.
I mean, I finally worked up, and people just kind of will buy one piece of equipment here and there. And now I have a full on broadcast quality home studio, but
Right.
nobody really starts out that way.
No, but as you said, you have moved to that direction. So at first, you may be just recording auditions from your home and maybe, doing the jobs in studios elsewhere. But when you get to a level like you're recording major jobs right from your home studio that the industry people that you work with know sounds professional. You're going to get a great quality finished product, and now you're set to go, right?
Yes. Yep, exactly. But I still have to, there's still little technical things like learn as far as different ways to kind of patch into your clients.
Oh, yes. That is a
There's
whole
phone patch, there's IP. That's a whole nother
we could
topic.
probably have a whole other segment just on all of that. That is
Oh, yeah.
It gets very deep. So let's say we have our own home studio, we've taken a class, we're practicing our oral reading. What is the next move? What do we do now?
Okay, so then I would say the next move is you need to get ready to have a demo made.
Okay.
So you can use, there's classes for this. There's demo prep classes.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of, obviously taking the classes is where where your focus is, what some the things that you are actually good at. The kinds of reads.
Right.
Whether
Right.
you're like the sexy girl or whether you're just like the regular kind of pedestrian sounding voice,
Or
somebody
they
you just
love
grab off the street. So
the mom voice.
oh yeah, the mom voice.
You
Yes.
gotta have the mom voice.
Or the mom voice, or you do, it's a combination of those things, whatever it might be. But then so you want to practice the Global Voice Academy, which is GVAA that I was talking about, and Edge Studio. Edge Studio particularly has practice scripts on their site, which is amazing. So you can go and use those and kind of get yourself prepared, but also listen to demos. You can go on voicebank.net and listen to all the agencies have their clients listed. You can also go to those agencies if you know an agency that you like or some really reputable agencies. Go to their sites, listen to everybody's demos, and listen to what sounds good to you. And then there's resources for finding demo producers. And I went through when I did this, and I listened to so many demo producers, and I went back and forth and back and forth. And I remember I narrowed it down to two that really their work stood out to me.
Right.
And that's and also spending money on your demo is worth every penny, because that is you are competing against everybody in the country.
Yeah. And it's highly competitive because of this very reason, that you are competing against people from across the country. So yeah, definitely finding a great demo producer is the key. And also you may want to reference Marie Westbrook's demo, because she just so happened to win Best Demo in the Voice Arts Awards. I'm just saying. So you can check out the demo.
Chuck ran at Demos That Rock. He did my demo, and it was years ago. And that thing is, I call it my golden ticket, because it has helped me get my agents. I've booked work from it. So like I said, it is not something it's not worth skimping on, because then you'll spend more. I haven't had to, I plan to invest, and I invest in other demos. There's animation demos and all of that stuff. And then you want to I'll kind of update my demo from time to time, but if you do it right, you don't necessarily have to keep spending money so frequently. And then you end up spending as much or more than you would have.
Oh, we're getting a little bogged down on the internet. Marie, come back. Let me see if I can make an adjustment here. We're going to take a quick pause. Oh, here's Marie. We're back. Okay, never mind. Can you hear me, Marie? All right, we're going to take a quick pause and try to get Marie back. We're going to wrap it up and get one more tip before we go with Marie.
Hi. Yep. We're at the end of everything, Annie. Cool. Oh, right.
Hey everyone, we're back. Thanks for waiting. We are here with Marie Westbrook, voice actor, giving us some tips on how to get started in the voiceover industry. We're going to talk just very quickly. This is a subject that we will most likely have another segment on because there's a lot to it. Next step would be sort of doing pay to play. Tell us just a little bit about that, Marie.
That's something that it's kind of controversial, so that's a different subject. But it's also something that a lot of people start out with. It's something where you can go on to a website. Voice 123 and Bodoggle are both reputable and work well with our current rate guides. Because I think
Right.
the biggest thing is everybody needs to voiceover community has to team together. If you're doing, you're just starting out and you're doing non-union work, you want to follow rate guide, even if you're doing the low end of it, if you're just starting, because it's only going to help everybody in the long run. If somebody's doing it for nothing, it only hurts the industry. But that's what it is. Basically, you go on these websites and you audition. So you're sent auditions, you go on there and hopefully you book work.
Right. And
without having an agent.
Exactly. So this is a good way to sort of test the waters and see what kind of work you tend to book. You can sort of get some material under your belt for potential, pitching to agents when you get to that level. So this is definitely a great place to start. Marie, thank you so much for coming on the show today and for giving us some tips on how to get started in voiceover. Once again, we will probably talk to Marie again, get into more detail about this topic. I know I had a lot of people very interested in this. So stay tuned for another segment with Marie. And stick around. We are going to take a quick break as I get set for my next guest. Thanks again, Marie.
Thank you so much.